Oh, it's lovely to have you with me today, Annie. It's always a pleasure. How many years have we known each other?
My goodness, we met when our plane was diverted to Jersey. However many years ago, who knows? 20? Is it that many?
Well, it's a long
It
time.
could be.
And-
15 to 20, yes.
And Annie normally lives in Cambridge, but
Mm.
she's on the island at the moment, and I'm really, really delighted that she's come along to talk to me this afternoon, because in my book, success is being in the zone, doing what you do best, and she's got a whole lot of things in front of her that she does do best.
Well, a few things. Yes, I think being in the zone is good. That's a nice expression. And doing things that I love is what I decided I was going to do when I was about 50. And now I'm halfway through being 60 to 70. And I've been doing that for several years, deciding that I'm just going to do things that I love. And that helps people around me, and it helps me as well. So that's the best way to go.
So did you start out with art? Did you start out with music? How did it all come together?
When I left school, I went to art college. I decided not to do music because I felt I loved it so much. If I studied it, I might kill it, which probably was a good idea because I still play music now in quartets and orchestras.
You play the viola?
I play the viola, yeah. And I also taught myself the ukulele last year, which was great fun, which I absolutely love. And I played with the Ordinary Strummers when I came and stayed here last July. That was wonderful. So I think I sort of feel that there's always new things to do in all sorts of areas, and the music has always stayed open and lovely, and I've met some wonderful people, fallen in love with several people who are musicians, which has been wonderful and fulfilling in lots of ways, musically and otherwise. So music has always been there, but I've also always practiced my different arts, and I've always sort of worked in kind of slightly offbeat areas, maybe done quite a few works with abstract shapes and forms, which has come and gone through the years. A little break when I had my children, who are now in their early mid-30s, my two children. But now that they've sort of moved on to their own lives a bit more, I have more time to do that and find more amazing things that still seem to be coming out for some reason.
You're truly a creative, so...
Well, it feels like it.
Well, look, tell us about the pots.
Well, it was only just about a month ago that I was asked to run a felt pot workshop with some people that had been to my felting workshops before. And I hadn't really made them before. It was a bit of a mystery to me. It's nice to still have mysteries in the world.
It's wonderful.
Tap into.
This is what I'm saying, there's so much out there.
There is. It's wonderful. I love it.
And what you'd made before, with felt, you've made other things.
Yes, I started making felt, working with felt when I was teaching at a school in Cambridge, and they asked me to teach felt making. And I said, no, I can't do that because I've never done it. Ha ha. And it had to be done the following Monday, and this was Friday. So I had a quick lesson, which was fine, and 5 minutes it was, 5-minute lesson. And then I practiced all weekend using these wonderful coloured fibres, and then as long as I was one step ahead of the pupils, that was fine. And I just absolutely fell in love with it because it brought me back into the world of colour, which is so healing, I think, to use colour. So that from then on, I started working in felt. I started experimenting with it, felting onto backgrounds of silk, and then I began to bring my products, my creations, to different places, Fitzwilliam Museum in Cambridge. And they said, oh yes, we'll put those in the shop and see how they go. And last week I delivered my 278th scarf to the Fitzwilliam. So
wow.
I'm quite pleased with that. It seems that people love them. Not that I've seen anybody wearing one, but maybe they hang on their walls, who knows. So I made felt scarves and then began to teach workshops and found that very fulfilling, because it's quite, being an artist in some ways is quite a lonely occupation. So it feels good to do these workshops that I do, and to just to keep in contact with other people and pass on the things I'm passionate about.
And you saying that people come thinking they can't do it and they end up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it overflows into other areas
Yeah.
of their lives.
Yes, it does. People come along thinking, oh, I don't know whether I'll be able to manage that. I said, well, let's just start now. What colours do you like? Okay, we'll have those. Now, how about just putting in a colour you think you don't like? So they'll add a colour that they think they don't like, and at the end, they're absolutely addicted to it, which is wonderful. And they find that they produce something which they never thought they were capable of, which I think it's quite a nice gift to be able to give people. And then they sort of feel happier then in other areas of their lives, and sometimes will change other areas that they thought they weren't able to change, etc. So hopefully it sort of feeds into their lives through this.
So you're a brilliant example
process
of being in the zone, doing what you love, communicating to that to other people, and that changing their lives.
Yeah, I hope so. So you can feel the sort of the
threads.
effect moves out from this initial thing in me. And for me it's wonderful, because I always learn things from the people that come to me, the different combinations that they use, the different ways that they approach the work, and people get to know each other within the workshops as well, and people they may not ever have, come in contact with, or thought that they might even want to come in contact with. So it feels like a very fulfilling thing from both sides.
So how do you make these amazing bowls?
Yes,
Because
these
I've never
bowls.
seen a felt bowl before.
Wonderful little things. Amazing. Well, it is a very simple process, as in all felting really. It's really basically, inside you have a template, which you can just cut a little circle of plastic out from an old folder. Or in fact, what I did, I went to a hardware shop and found one of those rubbery, grippy things that you open jars with when you start getting a little bit arthritic. And so I cut a circle from that, very flexible bit of rubber, and then you just lay fibres over this template, over the edge, wet it, flatten it, turn it over, same again, flatten it, turn it over. So you keep adding layers, and then eventually you can roll it and roll it and roll it, so all the fibres fit to each other with all the moisture and the agitation. And so eventually you're ending up with a flat thing like this. Then you cut a circle, pull the template out. Hey presto, you've got a bowl all of a sudden. No
That's just
seams.
magic.
It's a seamless bowl, and it is magic as well. And then you can put your hand inside with a bit of bubble wrap on it. Hand on the outside, bubble wrap, rub, rub, rub. And eventually all the fibres felt even more and more and more fixed to each other. And there you have this wonderful little bowl with silk in the middle, which in fact you can put nightlight in.
Nightlight.
Yeah. And it can reflect out the shininess of the silk. And if there are a few odd fibres, you may sort of smell a little singeing, but the whole thing is not going to go up in smoke. So don't worry about that. Because yurts in Mongolia made with felting, much thicker.
Oh,
But they
really?
have fires inside their yurts, and there's no fire risk, so completely safe and recommended. So that's my latest passion at the moment. And that's just from a friend saying, could we do a pot workshop? And I said, yes, back in my head. Aha, I've never made a pot before, let's try that. And now it's turned into a bit of a passion.
I think this is just wonderful. I've also put the flower out there that you made for me,
the flower that I made for Jane.
and I just find that gorgeous. What is extraordinary is that you can see Annie rolling these things up and sort of doing things that you would never ever do with anything else, and then they spring back into life again. So they are truly magical.
Good.
And I think Annie spreads a little bit of magic everywhere she goes. So thank you ever so much for coming and talking to me today and sharing your success.
Thank you for giving me your magic.